It looked at me as if she was drunk. Her face had gone completely white. She looked just like a porcelain doll. "Oh, course one. Stay where you are." I couldn't stand this, so I said that as I got up, but an unexpectedly powerful voice beckoned me back as I stopped. "I'm fine." "But I'm fine. Just the medicine has made me quite sleepy." With that, I understood the situation. Untouched coffee, an empty glass of water. "Could you just lend me a hand?" "Are you really alright?" I lent Eleanor a hand, reinserting the file into a bag and hanging it on my shoulder. I placed Eleanor's bag on my shoulder as well. "Can you walk?" "Yes, no." "Huh? My apologies. I'll do what I can until we reach the elevator." She suddenly stood up straight after speaking confidently. She was so upright as it was as if everything until now was but a lie. The leather bag slipped off my shoulder. When I was surprised by that, I slipped it back on. "I mustn't be fussed over." She then smiled placidly. Well, I was quite sure that yes, her health should be fussed over. Eleanor had to start walking off. It took all I had just to keep up with her. That may have just been because she knew exactly how many seconds she could stay awake. She greeted the cafe waiter with a smile, passing through a lobby swarming with gentlemen and ladies, gracefully declining the bellhop, trying to lead her directly to her room, telling him just the elevator would be fine. When the door of the ornately decorated elevator opened, there was a scarlet carpet of grace before us, and so much gold on the walls one could make out one's own reflection. The bellhop pressed the button of the 50th floor with a white-hand glove, closing the door so not as to allow other customers to enter. Of course, she was smiling right up until the door shut. That was the moment her legs gave out. So sudden I couldn't even move. Her skirt gently puffed out and her platinum blonde hair fanned. I gazed upon something as if it was something out of a fantasy. When I came to my senses, I knelt down, supporting her before she completely collapsed to the floor. Peering at her face, I could see she was breathing in a strained manner as she slept. I could tell things were not well without even knowing the details. It took me no time at all to reach the 50th floor of the elevator. I was of course an express. Supporting Eleanor with my shoulder, I carried her out of the elevator. My body moved well enough to go. And to be honest, I've not done much exercise in the last 4 years. However, though I had brought her out to a scarlet carpeted corridor, I neither knew the room nor had a key. As I was deciding whether or not to call for somebody, Eleanor went rigid for a moment, letting out a small moan. "In bag." After that final utterance, she slumped down like a marionette, with strings cut. She probably meant the keys in her bag. I hesitated to dig into someone else's bag, especially since that someone was a lady with some stature, but it had to be done. I opened Eleanor's bag, searched for it, and found a keycard fit the bill. 5002 in the back. I went down the corridor. Preceding me from the windows was a divine view from the top of Newton City's skyscraper. That scenery of a sort that only those with mass piles of money could see captivated me for a moment. Eleanor's moan brought me back to my senses. I continued to walk in, adjusting my single-arm embrace on her. Within the corridor were large lasses, large vases, enough for kids to hide within, and with such a vast number of chandeliers, I was so curious as to how they were cleaned. On the contrary, when the ornate short swords and oil lamps displayed in gas cases, it appeared more like a museum. It was questionable if that was really a hotel. Also, when you think about hotels, you think the walls would have doors lined one after the other, where there's nothing but wall all the way down. I only realised it because the room's list was that big when I finally reached the door to room 5002, swiped the keycard and entered it. What is this? The lights lit up the moment I opened the door. What shocked me about the room wasn't the size of the room itself. The room had been, which I couldn't even begin to estimate the size of, had been filled with stuff. The majority of being overflowing piles of documents littered here, all of them with overwhelming number of tag markers stuck to them. Newspapers and various magazines. It felt as if I stepped into a time warp, seeing such a vast amount of materials. I'd never seen such hard copies before. It felt dated. I passed through these ruins, carrying Eleanor, still limp in my other arm. The state of a king-size bed was the same as the rest. No, actually, it was much worse. Not only half-read books and folded newspapers, but empty pizza boxes, empty drinks containers, and candy bar wrappers littered it. And on a pillow were open bags of lurid-coloured gummy candies. I was troubled as to where I should look with her clothes scattered all over the place. The only clean place was the spot where she slept. The From a shape I could imagine she was curled up in a fetal position when she slept. But still a real possibility for me to understand the filthiness of the room. It was somewhat pleasant to think that this is one of this impeccable lady's surprising features. I laid Elena down on her bed, gazed at the state of the room, which would better describe as incredible than filthy. I gulped when I saw what was laid out on top of a window-side desk. An array of medicines, tablets, capsules, powder medicine spread out in a haphazard manner. There were names of some prescriptions I had taken during the worst periods of incident 4 years ago, written on a white paper sack. Antidepressants, tranquilizers, sleeping pills. Combined with the state of this room, I looked over at Belle. Eleanor was sleeping peacefully like a princess who had bitten a poisoned apple. I couldn't help but question the state of the room. What was the justice she was trying to realise, and what would push her this far? This wasn't a room of someone trying to wholeheartedly or putting in a lot of effort. On top of a desk with a medicine spread around were piles of books. Surrounding it were mountains of documents held together with enormous clips. There was also a coffee cup placed there, and when I peered further down, I saw a kettle and container of instant coffee next to a chair. There was also an enormous amount of empty caffeine pills boxes. It wasn't that she didn't like coffee, her stomach just couldn't handle it anymore because of how much she drank. Insanity. Or could it be tenacity? Justice could not exist without evil. Realising justice could only be accomplished by defeating evil. This was far too removed from a calm state of affairs of the office of Schrödinger Street. Eleanor's room was intense, but still felt reasonable. Data reclassification and collection, that was reasonable. In practice, it was like never being used as a storage room. Nevertheless, there was a certain amount of insanity oozing from around a desk and burnt out bulb. However, here she did not hold back. It was as if a storm of insanity blew through and tore up this room. Looked closer and saw tags all over the walls. What I thought was an avant-garde design turned out to be some kind of citation from a document written up in lipstick. I also had 4 years ago poured everything I had into realising my dream. It was a scant 70,000 walls I'd been pushing around. Eleanor was certainly living in a world where 70,000 walls was nothing but tissue paper. There was no way she was working with that little. Returning to the edge of her bed, I took out Eleanor's file from my bag. I opened up to a random page, finding a handwritten report. The moment I opened it, I felt like that sort of shock one gets when hearing loud noises through headphones. I immediately closed it. A moment later, a storm passed and silence returned. I looked at Eleanor on my bed. I recalled what Risa had said. This girl is a real deal. You do understand the meaning of those words. I understood all too well. Looking at the file, I saw a wall over her bed from Eleanor slept upon. For a time I couldn't understand what I'd seen. Normally there should be a tasteful drawing hung there. When I realised what was there, my legs began to quiver. That quivering became from a leg that hadn't moved in these 4 years. It wasn't something as tepid as a simple picture hanging there. There was an old flag spread out at full length. This crimson flag of an eagle, shield and sword was a coat of arms, once proof of nobility. Magnificently embroidered below it was Justice and Lord. From a lunar bone such as myself, those born and raised on Terra were disgustingly dirty-footed humans. The weight of that flag didn't simply come from its one-stick gravitational pull, but also from many hundreds of years uninterrupted history it represented, as opposed to a moon's less than a quarter century. Eleanor had said the vast company of a fast family name in it had been crushed. I felt that on that front, that was unfortunate. Moreover, after hearing from Sir Road, it was like having one's company crushed. I felt it even more like it was such a personal thing. However, this wasn't something that could be settled as simply as that. In a matter of speaking, it had bruised 100 years of history contained within its coat of arms. Not just herself, but so many peoples, many beloved peoples, irrevocable mistake. I looked at my right hand as the feeling someone had pierced it. My right hand had never gone stiff of late, but now became solid and started to quiver. My heart pounded, my breath became pained. An episode. Even though I knew this wasn't good, I turned my gaze over to the coat of arms once again. A crimson flag. Irrevocable mistakes. Realisation of justice. My right hand shuddered, as if it were a living creature. Not something like that could be stopped even if I tried. I had so many episodes from this. Also, I didn't have a crisp on my side this time to stop it. Yet, I had a feeling that something even worse was happening. There was a smell of copper within my nostrils. irrevocable mistake. That world where it was as if you must go to pray to God. After uttering those words to myself, my right hand stopped. Justice and Lord. I had noticed a financial statement of a company organisation chart that hung next to a flag. CEO was written next to the picture of an elite looking man in his 50s, appearing rather rough in personality, with sleek greyish hair. CIO, Chief Investment Officer. CTO, Chief Technical Officer. Picture of a young man with predatory eyes and combed back blonde hair. Read next to him. CFO, Chief Finance Officer. Seeing that picture of a name written next to it made me feel as if my eyes were being pushed out from my head. It's going to be our friend, isn't it? It's... The haughty way he smiled at Cam was no different from the image that lingered in my memories. Kevin Leith, Jeremy Botsman, and Clive Goldshower. They were members of Avalon, the only energy company which fought against the most powerful conglomerate on the moon, Emerald Industries. But when I saw a picture of Clive Goldshower written next to it, I felt a flashback to that crimson display. The man pictured there was a Reaper who destroyed everything we had. Barton Clodwisen. There are innumerable arrows drawn directly onto a wall leading from his financial statement to a company organisation chart to other documents. You know what? I think this is probably a good place to end it for now. I'm sorry that I've been introducing episodes the last few times. I've been so engrossed in the storyline, I've not actually seen these time, and I've probably gone over 2 or 3 episodes of the last time I stopped recording. Oh well, join me next time when I delve deeper into this cesspool of monetary gain. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.